For some people, pickup trucks aren't exactly just a lifestyle vehicle. Some people actually want to take them off-road. And when you do want to take them off-road, you want something that you can kind of modify to your taste to make sure you don't bog down off-road. Now this one right here is pretty much like the budget Ranger Raptor, and this model right here is the Ford Ranger FX4 Max. Today I'm going to show you around this car, and I'm also going to give it a test drive, so stay tuned. The FX4 Max Ranger is the Ranger trim that slots just below the Wildtrak. However, don't think that this is more of a budget version of a Wildtrak, because this is more of the off-road oriented vehicle. It's a little bit blander than what you would get with the Wildtrak. However, your grille, it is very reminiscent of a Ford Ranger Raptor. Your headlights, so unfortunately you don't even get LED, so that is a big bummer, especially for 2022. And down below this bumper right here, it is very much bland with no front sensors either. On the side, you're looking at 256 millimeters of ground clearance, slightly more than what you would get with the Wildtrak trims. And one reason for that is that your step boards are also kind of different. These are these non-slip separated step boards, which are actually pretty nice, and they don't really eat into your ground clearance that much. You had 17-inch rims on this one, 265/70/17s, only 20 millimeters narrower than what you would get with the Ranger Raptor, and they are also wrapped in these BF Goodrich All Terrain tires for that extra grip for when you're going off-road. You also get this decal towards the side, which looks really nice, and a sports bar towards the back, plus an FX4 Max badge right there as well. One thing worth noting though is that this car, it still doesn't get the coil springs at the rear as you would get with the Ranger Raptor, but it does get 2-inch monotube shocks for both the front and the rear. At the rear, nothing fancy either. However, you do get these stickers which look really nice, Overland Kings and Filipino food forward Sarsa stockroom. No idea what that is, so comment down below and do let me know what exactly those are. A Ranger sticker as well, the huge Ford logo, and while you do get reverse sensors on this one, you don't even get a reverse camera on this car. Huge bummer really, and you don't also get that assist thing that you would get with the Wildtrak, so this tailgate is quite heavy, and over here you're looking at a really big space to carry items, and this one also comes with a bed liner and has a payload capacity of 981 kilograms, which is actually a lot more than what you would get with the Ranger Raptor. Powering the Ranger FX4 Max is this 2-liter bi-turbo diesel engine making 213 horsepower and 500 Newton meters of torque. As you can see, this one is quite dirty because I'm sure that someone did take this test unit off-road, which is just proof that this car is very much capable off-road. This has also made it to a 10-speed automatic transmission, and it's the exact same powertrain that you would get with the Ford Ranger Raptor. Inside the Ranger FX4 Max, you check the door thud, and as with pretty much any other Ford out there, it sounds pretty good. The interior of this car, let's just put it at bland. It is simply quite bland, but that's really the purpose of these off-road vehicles, because imagine if you go on an off-road track and it's flooded there, you go across a river or small stream, this will get wet. So being bland is always good. Everything here is just black. Most are made out of plastic, hard plastic up top, on the side. Even your seats, you don't even get power seats with this one because those motors can break, but you can adjust this seat in many ways so you will feel very much comfortable. What I don't like though is that the steering wheel, it is adjustable but only for tilt. It doesn't telescope. The instrument cluster is also incredibly clear. Yes, it's starting to show its age, but it has a more timeless design compared to most of the competitors. It's just one single speedometer at the center, flanked by 2 screens towards the side. To the center of everything is an 8-inch touchscreen with Apple Carplay and Android Auto. It's also moderately responsive, and it comes with Ford's Sync 3 system. Your usual dual zone climate control over here, a USB port. You have your electronic stability control, your rear diff locker, and your hill descent control, plus your drive modes 2 high, 4 high, and 4 low. Your shifter has these manual modes on the side, plus minus for your 10-speed automatic transmission, 2 cup holders, and more cubbies over here. Now, the highlight of the FX4 Max compared to the rest of the Ranger lineup is this console at the top center of the dashboard. So as you can see, it says aux 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this car comes with a 250 ampere alternator, so it's more than the usual 90 to 100 I believe, and this one can actually be hooked up to all your modifications that you're gonna have. So you want to hook it up to your winches, your sirens, your extra lights, your floodlights, all of that. This one is ready to take on the challenge. At the second row, we check the door, And given that it is this rather rectangular and shorter door, it sounds pretty good too, even better than the front. And when you're back here, honestly, for a pickup truck, it's not too bad because you don't really sit that upright, so it is still rather comfortable. Your legroom is great, and of course your headroom, because of the square cab, is also pretty good. You have an armrest and 2 cup holders and a jug holder towards the side, plus a 12-volt outlet towards the middle. Unfortunately though, you don't get anything else, and you don't even get your own air vents back here. But if you want to see 3 people back here, you can easily do it, although you do have to kind of split your legs right there. But over here at the center, headroom and legroom is still pretty good. Now we get to drive the Ford Ranger FX4 Max. I was able to drive the Wildtrak 4x4 a couple while back, and honestly, well, you know, what did I expect? It drives pretty much similar. The main difference is that this one not only gets your regular leaf springs, but you do get those monotube 2-inch Fox branded shocks at the back, which means that when you do corner this car and when you do take it off-road, it is a little bit more composed. You don't really get so much of that roll and all your tires like slightly lifting. This one keeps it planted on the ground. Now, I am no off-road enthusiast, and I have no right to comment about anything off-road because I really don't know anything about it. However, I can assure you that when I did take this car earlier to an empty lot in a particular village, I had fun. I had a lot of fun with this car, and I'll put the video up here right now. It was really a nice, pleasant experience. And you know, this car right here, this FX4 Max, made me realize that maybe I should start doing some off-road in the future. Going back to the driving of this car inside the city, it does around 8.5 kilometers per liter. Then when you do go on over to the highway, you're gonna get around 16. Not bad overall, and generally it is a very comfortable car. The only gripe I have about this car is that since it is riding on those all-terrain tires, if you do compare this to the Wildtrak, it is a little bit noisier. Wind noise, not that apparent, but it really is the tire noise that does enter the cabin, especially when you do go up to highway speeds. Yes, you kind of hear those tires, but they're not too loud. They're not crazy loud. These are not like those off-road, 100% off-road tires. These are still, well, all-terrain, so yeah, I can still do the regular roads pretty well as well. Since the FX4 Max uses the exact same powertrain as the Ford Ranger Raptor, you can expect tons of power with this one. That 500 Newton meters of torque can really pull, and you can really feel it when you do it in the city or even on the highway. The 10-speed transmission as well, it doesn't seem to hunt for a gear, which is something that usually cars with a lot of gears tend to do. One great attribute that these Ford Rangers and even the Ford Everest has, which pretty much none other in the competition can really simulate, is the great steering. So although the steering feel in this one is incredibly disconnected from the outside world and from your front tires, they really do provide a sense of relaxation whether you are inside the city or on the highway, because in the city they are incredibly light. You can even turn them with just one finger, even your pinky. Parking this is also easy because of how light it is, and on the highway it does tighten up a lot. However, when you go back to that parking thing, I don't get why Ford can't just throw in like a reverse camera. I mean, how hard could it be? This car is crazy long. I mean, it's not F-150 long, obviously, but it is still pretty long, and you can't really see much out of the back because, well, the back part of the cab does end just before the bed, so you don't know where the edge of the car is. Sure, you have your reverse sensors, but I mean, seriously, Ford, I would appreciate just one, even if it's just a low quality reverse camera, please. Here on the highway, the FX4 Max still proves to be a very comfortable car. I mean, just the seats in this one, I love how the bolsters hold you in place, but they're not too tight such that I can't have a samgyup meal and still drive this car comfortably. It feels like that. There are some imperfections here on the Skyway, but this car, compared to the regular Rangers with their only leaf springs and without your Fox suspension, your shocks, it does feel a lot firmer. Which you might say, oh, isn't that a bad thing because it rides firm? Yes, okay, yeah, it rides firmer. However, it is less matagdag. It's less bouncy. So if you don't want that bouncy feel that you get with a lot of pickup trucks and their regular leaf springs, then you're going to be very happy with the FX4 Max. At 1.758 million pesos, the Ford Ranger FX4 Max provides a great, slightly cheaper alternative to the Ford Ranger Raptor. Sure, it might not have some of the goodies and the tech that the Ford Ranger Raptor has, but in terms of capabilities on-road and off-road, honestly, well, okay, I can't really talk about off-road again because I'm not qualified, but on-road, it is about the same. And the best part about this car is that since it is a bit on the bare side, it really does serve as the perfect platform for you to build your personalized rig. I mean, just imagine all the lights, all the sirens, and all the other accessories, the winch even, that you can attach to this car and wire towards that switchboard in the middle without cluttering your cabin with any additional switches. It will simply feel like a great personalized car that is bespoke to you. So if you are looking for that great alternative for your off-road fantasies and your off-road weekend getaways, then the Ford Ranger FX4 Max is a car that you should seriously consider. I would once again have to thank Ford Philippines for sending over this car right here for review. I've had a great fun time with this car, and I've also had my first semi-off-road experience in forever.